What's up?
Hey, what's up, good people? What's going on? Happy Black History Month. What's going on Facebook? What's going on YouTube? Remember, guys, I need you guys to do me a quick favor. If you're on YouTube, I need you to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on Facebook, I need you to share, and share. All right, guys, you know I don't do this alone. I'm gonna bring my panel on, but before I bring my panel on, don't forget we are on every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, at 5 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. I think that's Pacific time. All right. So without further ado, let me welcome my panel to the show. All right, we're gonna start with Shay, as she's first right here. What's going on? Happy Black History
What's
Month.
going on? Happy Black History Month, Farrakhan.
No.
Mm.
You got jokes today. All right, let's see who's next right here. What's up, Nate the Great? What's going on, man? Welcome, welcome.
Hey man, can I get 2 bean pies?
And them good grapes.
All right, next is welcome Miss D to the show. What's up, Miss D? What's going on with you?
Hello, I'm Dizzy from All the Waves.
Hey, turn
okay,
up.
See? Hey,
You got that
listen.
glow.
What's up, good people, y'all? Thank you for joining in this episode 62. This is going to be called Black Love Chronicles, because it's Black History Month. So we know we have to throw that in. As you guys know, we normally do a icebreaker, but what we're going to do this time, we're going to introduce a Black inventor, athlete, or someone influential that you don't normally hear about. We know about the great Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, and so forth. But we wanted to bring light and shed light to the names that you don't hear on a regular basis. And so that's what we're going to do today. Who want to take it away? Who want to start first? Y'all want me to go first? How do you guys want to do it?
You can go first.
I'll go first. All right. So listen, so the person that I chose, I'll say this guy is a visionary, because without his invention today, we wouldn't be where we are today. I admire his industrious work ethic. So by further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. T.J. Marshall. And in case you guys don't know who Mr. T.J. Marshall is, he invented the fire extinguishing system. So without him, we wouldn't have the fire extinguishing systems that we have in a lot of businesses, homes, and etc. So today I shared light on Mr. T.J. Marshall and his work that he's done. All right, so let's see who's next. Take us away, Miss D.
Well, my person is Miss Katherine Johnson from Hidden Figures.
Okay.
She worked at NASA and made the 1969 moon landing possible. And she also worked as a teacher in public school.
Oh, wow.
It hits home for me because I'm a teacher in public school.
Okay. Okay.
And she was also a mathematician.
Okay. All right. And this is Mrs. Katherine Johnson right here, everybody. Very beautiful woman.
If you remember Hidden Figures.
Yep, that was a movie. Yep. So everybody, this is Miss Katherine Johnson. All right, Shay, take us away.
Okay, mine is Margaret Charles Smith. She was one of the first Black midwives, born in September of 1906, and she passed in November 2004. She lived 97 years. She was an African-American midwife who became known for her extraordinary skills over long career spanning over 30 years, despite working primarily in rural areas with women who were often poor in health. She lost very few of the more than 3,000 babies she delivered, and none of the mothers in childbirth. In 1994, she became one of the first official midwives in Greene County, Alabama, and she was still practicing in 1976. when the state passed a law outlawing traditional midwives. So midwives were very important back in the days, again, for those who could not afford to go to the doctors, but they're even more important now because they help women with home births. They help them with medical treatments and things like that. And a lot of people do like midwives over doctors when they're doing the birth. So it was something really, really interesting to know about. Her name was Margaret Charles Smith.
Oh wow. All right. And this is Miss Margaret Charles Smith picture right here. At first I was like, well, Sharon, I thought this was Black History Month, but I looked, I said, oh, she is a black lady. This is messy.
Black come in all shades.
Of course. All right. Last but not least, Nate. Nate, who are you going to introduce? And I want to say I didn't get a chance to upload his picture, but you selected a good one. Nate, take us away.
So I'm going out the box with this one. I know a lot of us, a lot of inventions that people have done that's still going around today. We thankful for those, but this one is a long term. I'm going to go with Rene Lacoste.
Mm-hmm.
He was a famous tennis player. He's African American, had a liking for the alligators. Him and a college friend started Izod, and they started using alligators. Him and his friend, his friend, some kind of way split up, and he ended up using the pattern as the alligators on his clothes to today. So I'm using Rene Lacoste. He was a famous tennis player, also a fashionaire, and his clothes are still going on today. I see a lot of people still wearing them. I'm a big fan of them.
I did not know that was a black. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So way before Ralph Lauren, there was Rene Lacoste, a black African American man. His clothes are still good. They fit. I love them. I wear them all the time. That's who I chose as my inventor in my Black History Month.
All right. Well, I do appreciate that everyone for sharing their individuals. I hope that you guys in the audience had a chance to learn something about some of these great people, great phenomenal visionaries that we expounded on. All right, y'all. We about to get down to the nitty gritty. We do have Trey. I think Trey is going to be coming in late, but he's supposed to be jumping on. But listen, we're going to jump into it though. We're going to jump right into it. So one of the first topics I want to actually dive into is let's see, interracial dating, right? We see a lot of people just interracial dating, and that doesn't mean white and black. It can be, white and Chinese or Asian and Arabic, interracial dating. What are you guys' perspective on because you see more and more and more of interracial dating? And let's just talk about athletes, right? And let's just talk about, since it's Black History Month, our black athletes. You see a lot of our black athletes married, and most of their wives are of a different nationality other than black. Why do you think do you think it's because that's, a lot of times that's what they grew up around? Because even Shay's son, he grew up around, in a predominantly white area, and so he only date, white women, Caucasian women, which is nothing wrong with it. But why do you think you see a lot of the interracial dating as it relates to like celebrities and stuff? Do you think they just because they expose, or do you think that they feel like, maybe black women isn't deserving, or what are you guys' perspective?
I think the economics changes your environment. Economics changes your way of thinking. I think economics change your view to a broad base. And I mean, I don't see nothing personally wrong with anybody dating who they want to date, but I think different circumstances. You take a kid out the hood or the ghetto per se, and I think that you get exposed to different things. You start to like different things and everything like that. But there's also a lot of athletes and famous people that date their own black women too. You know what I'm saying?
We see more and more of it. What's your perspective of it, Shay?
So I have two perspectives. I do believe that it's the environment you're in, partially. I also don't necessarily believe that there are a lot of black athletes that date outside of their race. I think that's what they perpetrate. They put out for us to see so that we can only see, and it only looks like our black men are dating other races. So I just don't necessarily, I do believe that there may be a slight chance that it is a little higher for Black athletes to marry or date outside of their race. But I don't think it's the big gap like they're trying to make it seem like it is. Like, oh, 90% of all Black men date different women. And then it's a little small percentage of Black men that date African American women. I don't believe that. I
I
just think
agree.
that's what they put out to kind of throw everybody off, because what they want to do is get rid of that authentic blood of our culture. And I went to Washington this past weekend, and anybody who hasn't been to the African American Museum in Washington, it is a must go, because it really walks us through our history and why it was so prevalent that African Americans were slaves over everyone else, because everyone was a slave. But that's a whole nother story. Long story short, I truly believe that it's not as bad as we think it is. I think that's what they want us to believe.
Okay. Auntie Pat said, I agree. I mean, to keep us separated. What's your perspective, Ms. D?
I think it's I don't know. I think it's about who they grew up around, because like my brother, he grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood or whatever. He was around Blacks, but he grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and he dated Black girls, but now his girlfriend is Hispanic or whatever. And I have no problem with it, but I just think it's who they grew up around. The environment.
Or it could be personal preference too, because
could be
some people, it could be personal preference. People have their preferences as to why they don't date certain people, but I think it's people preferences as well. What you about to say, Shay?
I think sometimes too, what really makes me mad, because I don't care who date who. I can't even say that when my son dates white women or Caucasian. It's when you get the Black boy from the hood who mama struggled her whole life to take care of him. He got 18 sisters, and then he wake up one day and say, all Black women gold diggers, and they want his money, and they ratchet. And I'm like, really, bro? Like, so that's where we go at? Like, I don't have a problem with it. And even if it's a white girl, me a Black girl doing it, that's the issue that I have. Like, at this point, like, why do you have a mother that's Black? You have sisters that's Black. So for you to try to depict that every Black woman has a nasty attitude or she hard to get along with, when it shows, it's data. I don't make the data up. A Black woman married to a white man is 40% more likely to stay in her marriage than a white man with a white woman, than a Black man with a white woman, than a white woman with a Black man. We are 40% more likely to be in our relationship and marriage and last longer. So you can't say Black women are hard to get along with. That's not necessarily true.
Shay, I agree to disagree with you on some of that. I agree with what you're saying, but I think also it becomes a time with your maturity level. Like at this point in my life, I don't want no ghetto ass Black woman who's always loud talking and and shit like that. I don't want no loud ass white woman either. So it comes to a point in time where I come the loudest woman in the room is always Black.
That's not true.
It's I ain't saying that some instances always is. Like it comes a certain time and you can go ask somebody who dated interracial before. I do not want a ghetto ass Black woman.
I don't think anybody want anybody that's ghetto. That's the thing. I don't think, but that's crazy.
Say where I'm going to say that's the stereotype and stigma that a lot of Black women get, and that's why a lot of these. If you talk to the majority of the Black men that dated out of their race, including me, I'm gonna tell you, I don't want no ratchet ass ghetto ass Black woman who overtalks everything.
And
and you get what I'm saying. As mature professional adults, I don't care. I don't want no ghetto ass period in my life.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say.
Because let me clear it up a little bit.
I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want my son to ever feel like I'm trying to talk bad on any of his girlfriends he's ever dated. But my son has never dated a Black woman ever.
Does that bother you, though, Shay?
It does not. But I'm going to
Okay.
tell you this. I've seen some ghetto things happen, and they wasn't from a black girl. So to say, it's amazing to me because a black woman could say, I want an educated man who has a good job and who's a good father and takes
Mm-hmm.
care of his house. And they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna say she's a gold digger and she wants to be on her ass and be lazy and want somebody to take care of her. A white woman can come in and say the exact same thing, and they're gonna say, oh, she's ambitious. She has standards. She's not going to deal with anyone who isn't going to take care of her. She deserves that. So we can say the same story. We can read from the same book. We can say the same line at the same monotone level, and we will still be depicted as angry, loud, and ghetto, even when we're not being ghetto.
I disagree with you to a certain extent, Jay, because I will say this. Like, again, I know some professional badass black women. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
One of my good friends is a doctor here in St. Louis, and she dates Caucasian men. And all her kids are mixed. That's a whole nother story. But she's professional,
Mm-hmm.
and she had to deal with the shit in school because she was dark. You get what I'm saying? She had to fight more adversities than a light skinned black woman would have
Mhm.
because, you kind of get where I'm coming from. So, like, there's adversities on both sides of it. I just personally, if I had a kid out there that was dating, I don't care if he's getting a white woman or black woman, I want you to bring somebody home that has something to offer you. No loud mouth, all that. You know the shit I'm talking about. It's just sometimes it's just too much. It's a time and place for that. And I don't like ghetto black women. I'm sorry, I just don't like that.
I get
Or
that.
I
I
don't want a
mean,
ghetto ass white women either. And some black women. I mean white women out here who think they're black too.
yeah.
That's the thing, is not looked at the same. And I'm a black woman. I'm a dark-skinned black woman. And I've seen some very strange things with these two eyes of mine that have been looked over and looked at as this white woman is just, she's passionate about her job, she's passionate about her family, she's passionate about her future. And I could say the exact same thing in the same room, in the same sentence, and I'm angry about my job. I don't like my husband, and I think I'm a gold digger because I want him to provide for me. It just turns into this malicious attack on black women. And like I told my son, I don't ever want him to say he don't want to date a black girl because of all of these negative things. I want him to not date them because that's what he chooses not to date, because his preference is whatever his preference is. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I'm saying. Don't tell me you don't date black women because all black women is ghetto, or because I don't want no ghetto woman. Well, you ain't dated all black women. That's like me saying all black men ain't shit and
But
they bad fathers. That
but
I can't make that statement.
but for someone who's never dated, say in their own race, now I can see somebody having trauma who dated that, right? And they got trauma. But for someone who's never dated that, I want to know what is that perpetuation is that is coming. I don't even know if that was a word, but I want to know what is that coming from for him to, for example, your son, he see a strong black woman, right? You,
His
what
mom
is
is one.
that yeah? So what is it that he feels that he's not? Is it personal preference, or could it be just what been portrayed to him? Because again, you can grow up in a certain area, right?
Uh-huh.
And you can still like. It doesn't mean that you. I also just feel like it's who you like. It
Yes.
doesn't mean you can be. So it's for example, you can put um, a straight person around a whole bunch of gay people. That straight person is straight, right? It doesn't matter how many people you put them around. So use that same moniker for a person that's white or a person that's black. You can put them around that, but they still gonna like what they like, right? At the end of
So
the day.
I do think that is you getting familiar with your surroundings and being able
Mm-hmm.
to you adapting to where your environment is.
Right.
So in case in point, in Africa, in certain spots, they eat with their hands and they eat different spices and different foods, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they become accustomed to that. So if we go over, like if I try to eat authentic Italian food, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it because I'm not used to it. It just I've become adapted to the unauthentic food. So with McCullen, when he was in the areas he was in, he became accustomed to what was in his environment. So he is attracted to Caucasian women. I don't think he disliked black women. I just don't think that's his flavor of tea.
But you know the thing
So
is though, Shay, and that's the thing that people kills me with this, right? What you just said. A lot of women think, a lot of black women, I think, is there some men too think that because you date Caucasian that you got a problem with black women. You can have best friends that are black. That don't mean that you just like what you like. And I just wish
yeah,
us as African American people would stop that shit
I
because
totally agree.
it's ridiculous. Like who you like and love who you love. You know, there's bad people in both races, but the stereotype, oh, he like white women. He one of those. What the fuck does that mean?
But the biggest stereotype, and
That's the stereotype. Yeah.
unfortunately, the biggest stereotype that many people don't want to admit to is that black women are complicated and that we are hard to date. And that is the biggest lie that is on this planet, because it is not true that all black women are difficult to date. Just like it's not true that all black men are horrible fathers, or all black men, all they want to do is have sex, or all black men are dogs and ain't shit. If everybody walked around and made those same statements, it becomes a reality to many people's lives who've never experienced us, because they automatically think. I had one of the ladies at my job say, you are so smart. And I looked at her as if that was a damn compliment.
But you know what?
Because no, because
because listen, it's but
don't tell me, Kevin, because you want to be the person that everybody's flying on unicorns.
No. But what I do believe is that, again, if you've never been around a person, perception is reality. What's pumped into your head, right? It's what listen, it's what's pumped into your head. So when you have a chance and an opportunity to discover something different about what was depicted in a certain way, it kind of brings awareness. And it's, again, I get it. I listen, I get it. I don't get offended. I understand that a lot of people have not interacted with, black people, right? Even some of my white counterparts. I know at work we would never interact with each other, ever cross paths. You know what I mean? But when you interact with them and do team building, they see that, dang, we are all the same, or we got commonalities and similarities. But again, it broadens a person's horizon. And I think that's sometimes you have to broaden people's horizon. It's even like that with people stereotypes, with not just white and black. It's about gay or straight. People have these perceptions that they think people are until they meet somebody that's totally different. And they're like, you know what? I like you. I always thought that this and that. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to educate people and just broaden their horizons.
A lot of it's how we grew up too. Growing up, one of my best friends is gay, man. When that's because that's my brother. And anybody that ever say something about him, I'm gonna have a problem with, because that's his life and that's still my brother. But growing up in our community, it was always shunned upon. You couldn't be who you are.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the shit that we have to change as well as in our black community, man. We gotta love to let people be who they are. We can't. You shouldn't in life. You shouldn't have to pretend to be something that you're not to be liked.
Most definitely.
That's something that bothers me growing up. Like, you got to be who you are. If my brother want to go get with some ghetto ass chick, that's by far. But when you start having issues, that's you inherit that. So in our community, man, we got to start letting people love who they learn and be themselves, and stop trying to put pressure on them to be something else, because that's what we want to see them as.
Right. All right. Let's think about challenges and growth, like second chances, right? So it's a big story that's going around in Michigan. You guys, I don't know if you guys have heard it or not, right? So just to sum it up real quick, it was this guy who had a past of child P, right? I don't think we can say that word, but child assault, right? And so what happened was he started messing with his girlfriend's niece, which was like 10, 11, got her pregnant. Anyway, she's we're gonna say presumably she's deceased. She's been missing and everything. So, and it proved that he was messing with this 12-year-old person, right?
That's sad,
But
man.
but the interview that really struck was the auntie of the guy, because she had 5 kids with the guy, and they asked her, "Did you know that about his past before you met him?" And she said, "Yes. If society, if society can give him a second chance, why can't I?" So my question to you guys is, could you give somebody a second chance that paid their debt to society that has a dark past? Could
Sex
it be that they
offenders? No.
changed? Okay.
No sex offenders, bro. You know,
So what if she robbed the bank, or what if she took away or deleted somebody that assaulted her? What if she took out?
So
could you give her a second chance?
that's the difference if she acting in self defense, had to kill somebody, because I would do the same. Now, robbing the bank mean you can never get a bank account and your finances gonna be fucked up. At this time of my life, I'm not trying to be with somebody their finances ain't
Okay.
straight.
So basically you wouldn't give that person a chance. Essentially, if you learned of all their past, you wouldn't give them a chance.
That person been in jail, man, for robbing the bank.
If God can give second chances, why can't you, Nate?
I don't have to. That's the thing about life, right? We can choose not to. What she got to do? So she walking around with an ankle bracelet on and shit. But no, this is the thing. I don't care who you are. If you any of my friends, male or female, and you got that charge on you as far as messing with kid or the R word, I don't want nothing to do with you. Stay the fuck away from me, because I don't agree with that. I don't think it's cool. That situation I've been following that trial. Her auntie needs to be locked up too.
Okay.
They didn't do that girl no justice, man.
What about you, Shay?
No, I ain't dating nobody no jail that been to jail, thinking about going to jail, partook in jail.
Okay, so what if they went to jail for federal crimes? What if they wasn't nothing bad? Well, it's bad, but what if they went for federal? They embezzled $1 million from a company.
I just don't feel like dealing with the jail thing, because most
like
of the
Phaedra
time,
and Apollo.
they
Phaedra's
can't.
attorney. She gave Apollo. He embezzled. He did white collar crimes. He didn't do nothing to people, but he embezzled millions from a company, even though it's still bad. Would you give somebody a chance that did that?
I can't say I won't, but I don't think I will. I just don't. I mean, I can't say definitely no, not at all. But I just, where I'm at in my life now, like Nate said, maybe in my 20s, I could have dated somebody who'd been in jail. But at this point, like, you might not be able to go out of the country. You might not be able to go get, like, go on a plane. I don't really know what jailbirds, what you can and can't do. I don't know. So,
I think it's a certain age, though, where, like what me and Shay just said, I think at a certain point, I know in my life, if you're not bringing me peace, or you disturbing my peace, I don't want no parts of what is jail, a misdemeanor, you done stole some milk at the local store. I don't want no parts of it.
But I do think that people deserve second chances, right?
Yeah, just not with me.
Right. Okay. and that's respectful. That okay. What about you, Ms. D? What's your perspective on it?
Like, I'm like Nate with the essay and all of that. No, but it just depends. I don't know. I'm like Shay too. I don't want to say no. I can't ever date nobody that went to jail, or I don't know. Like, you can never say what you'll never do.
Okay.
I think it depends on the crime, man. Like, at this point in my life, if you done robbed a bank, you probably can't get a bank account. You can't go buy this house with me. Can't buy a car. You can't get a bank account. You're paying restitution. Nah, we cool.
It depends on you and who you are with. Yes, that is most definitely true. Yeah. Think about second chances. Would you guys say so? If everybody was single, right? Would you give your ex a second chance? Because they say, guess what? Second chance, third chance is the charm. I do believe. So let me answer this. Well, I'm gonna say no. But I do believe that just because things didn't work out the first time doesn't mean that it can't work out the second time. It can be bad time, and it can be a lot of different things. I know people who have divorced and married each other again, and they're doing good. I mean, hey, maybe sometime it take things drastic for people to get it or
So
something.
I
But what's
put
your
you like
perspective?
this. I think that if you look at the college Nathan compared to the Nathan I'm at now, I probably wasn't a great guy, and the woman probably wasn't a great things because we had to go through life, we had to go through experience and evolve. So like, if I met somebody that I dated back in college, and I see that at a different place now, and you can, you know what I'm saying, in that aspect, but just to date the ex I just had a couple years ago, probably not.
Okay.
It's their ex for a reason.
Okay. What about you, Miss D?
They're ex for a reason. It really depends on who the ex is, but no, I can't go back to no exes right now. I'm not in the headspace.
So you don't have not an ex that
I said it depends on who the ex is.
Okay, so think about a time an ex that wasn't bad. Say y'all broke up and it wasn't no cheating, it just that it was amicable, and reconcilable differences,
So
right?
I had one
What
before,
would you
Kevin.
do?
I had one before, Kevin. Man, she's like my best friend, but her family had a problem that I was black.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Let's go
saying?
smack her.
But
Smack her.
now, like now she's like we cool, like we still text and stuff, and she's mature, and she always say I apologize. Like, why you apologize? I would never want to put somebody over their family because of, you know what I'm saying. It's just not the right thing. But yeah, that aspect a little bit different, but I have experienced that before.
Okay. Auntie Pat said yes. They said it takes more than one or two times in life to get it right.
True.
Dad said you better not have one. That's crazy. So Shay, would you give an ex a second chance if you wasn't married and all that stuff? Would you get an ex a second chance?
I probably would.
Okay, and that's real. I'm glad you said that.
And Shay
That's
look like
real
she
of you
gonna
to
remind
say
them of it
that.
every time too.
What'd you say?
Shay, you like you gonna remind that person of that every time that you give them this
No,
second chance.
I used to have a saying: a ship that sails backwards never sees the sunset. So
Dang.
I always thought, if you sail backwards, obviously you won't get to your destination. But that's not true. That was a very closed-minded way of thinking. I'm not gonna say I haven't went back to someone, but recently in my most recent life, I have not, done anything like that. And I don't think I have an ex that I would go back to at this point.
Because it may not necessarily be the ex. It could be us or you or Miss D. It could be them. We want to always
It's definitely
point the
not
finger.
me.
It could possibly be me. I'm not even going.
I'm perfect.
And you know what? And I agree, Kevin. I agree because sometimes, like I just said, you got to mature.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like in the past, sometimes the person was ready for a little bit more than what we were.
Right. And I think that's what it is. We always hear, we can always say what we won't do, but what if we were the common denominator to the situation?
Nobody would never admit it.
Yeah, I would say thinking back in the past of people I've dated, I probably didn't give people a chance because the reason if I saw something that I deemed as a red flag, I'm ghost. And guess what? I probably didn't even give a person a chance, so I guess essentially that would be me. Like, what made you, you have to dive deep into, certain things, like what caused you or what, when you're meeting a certain kind of person, and it's going to go into my next topic. A lot of people say I can't find a good person, right? Or people keep attracting the same kind of person. Why is that? I always tell people you got to dive deep and see what you are doing that's attracting these type of people. What are you guys' perspective on that? Because oftentimes I think people get what you attract. And is there such thing? And then it's a two-part question. You don't? Okay. So what's your perspective? What's your perspective?
I've had a bum try to talk to me. That don't mean, you know what I'm saying?
But wait. When you say bum, you don't say bum. What does that?
A homeless person?
So you literally had a homeless person try to talk to you?
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't think it's necessarily true. I think sometimes you just attract people because you can be attractive and people want to be with you. I've had plenty of people tell me a long time ago, "Oh, you're never single." And I'm like, it's not my fault that when I meet people, they want to be my woman. Like, I'm a catch. So I think that you just attract people because you can be attractive. And then sometimes you attract good people, sometimes you attract bad people, but I don't think you attract what you are. I
So,
don't.
so you don't think if you keep attracting a certain kind of people, you don't think that that's something within a person?
I mean, I don't think anybody keeps attracting the same kind of people. I think sometimes people attract a lot of people on this planet do the same bullshit. So I just think, unfortunately, it's not necessarily something that you're attracting that you're doing wrong. I just think society has made people feel that they can't trust, they can't be faithful, they can't be loyal, they can't be committed. Everybody's out doing something they don't have any business doing. And it's you're already going into this relationship with these pre thoughts of someone doing you harm or doing something to you. So I don't know. That's just my personal
What you
opinion.
think, Nate? Do you think it's something about a person if they keep attracting a certain kind of people? A person.
I see people like, again. I know I don't attract the same kind of people because as I evolved and I matured, I think out the box now. I see things a little bit different. But I got friends that both men and women, and they date the same kind of men and women all the time. And I tell them, sometimes after a relationship sometimes you gotta give yourself time to heal and really ask yourself what it is that you want. If you keep attracting the same kind of people, you're gonna end up with the same kind of results.
Hmm. What about you, Miss D?
I think it's sometimes that we can be closed-minded to
Mm.
about situations. So we have to learn to open up our minds sometimes and open our hearts as well. Because if you don't open your heart, you'll never attract the person that you feel like you should attract.
So how do you open your mind? How do a person open their mind or step outside the box? How do you? How do you if you're closed minded, how do a person step outside the box if it's something they're not used to?
I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago where you got them females out here and these males that this ain't my type of person, is my type of person. If you steady got a person that ain't your type person, you keep getting these same particular types. I don't think you're maturing as a person
I
because
agree.
as you get older, you may have a person that look real good or may not look good, but have everything else, the package that you're looking for. And sometimes you gotta beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think until you get that aspect in your head, you're really not maturing as a person.
So is there such thing as people dating
Ab-
outside their league?
I done it. I know I done it.
So okay.
And I think what
So
it is, and the reason I say that
so
I
wait,
said
Nick,
done it,
answer this like this. Can you date outside your league? And you said you done it. Elaborate.
so I put you like this, and then we can go back, and I know Shay and them can say, you ever seen a man, you be like, God damn, he look like Denzel Washington, I probably wouldn't have a chance. I'm just using that as an example. Or me like a Mariah Carey. Well, you start to figure out, you talk to that Mariah Carey, right? You talk to that Denzel Washington, you realize, damn, the looks is nothing how their personality is. Because in our head, the first thing we're looking at, damn, that person's fine. I know I can't bag that. And you start talking to that person, you start realizing they just normal, just like me. They don't think like they look. You kind of get what I'm saying, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I done had some fine women. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Fat, chubby,
But
ugly, like black and ever.
coochie down to that socks, huh?
Coochie down to the socks. Girls, they're PP when they see me.
oh God.
But what I'm saying is, I think sometimes beauty in the eye of the beholder, and that's why you be like, I know you done been out, be like, damn, how did he get her? How did she get him? You realize it's about personality at this point because those two people mature and they vibe with each other. It ain't about looks. You gotta look at it like this. All those looks phase away, especially at our age.
They
Mhm.
do. Yeah, look at all the celebrities. I mean, look, every celebrity isn't attractive.
Look at
But
Seals.
but if you look at every celebrity, most 95% of the people that they're with or married are beautiful what people. I ain't gonna just say women because some of the women, beautiful people that you wouldn't they if they didn't have their status, they
Mhm.
wouldn't have those certain people. So do I believe you can date outside your league? Hell yeah. Of course you can. Have I ever dated outside my league? No. I don't think I've ever dated outside my league. I think if I have, no, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say
I bet you
say
have.
date outside
You have.
I wouldn't I would say maybe when I was younger. I would say when I was younger I have, because when I was younger I was always an ambitious person. And when I wasn't where I was at now, I've dated people that was where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess essentially I have. So yes, I have.
I do want to say something. I'm gonna backtrack. I think I dated out of my maturity level before. I was in situations where I wasn't mature enough to be in that. So I would say that's probably neck to neck, but I would say that too. I think I dated out of my side of my maturity level. I wasn't ready yet, and there was a real woman, and I wasn't ready to
So
achieve.
that's
certain
that
things.
second chance. Again, that's that second chance we were just talking about. Now that you're mature enough, maybe a second time around with her, you'll be a different person
Which
because you
probably got like
grown.
3 or 4 kids, been divorced and married already. So.
Can you date outside your league, Miss D? And have you ever done it?
I think I've absolutely done it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that I think I've been outside their league, which makes them outside of my league.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as far as
Elaborate.
I'm going there.
Hey, look, she threw them braids back. I'm like, okay, elaborate.
As far as like my education level,
Okay, that's a big one.
as far as my maturity level, and then also as far as like my parenting skills. Some men have kids that they say they in their kids' life, but really and truly they really not. They telling you one thing and doing another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you find that when you date a guy, you say that's not on your educational level, is that a big no for you, or can you tell a difference?
It's not a big no for me.
But they might get intimidated if they never dated a woman. I can see, like,
right.
yeah. I can
Because
see
they're
that.
not. They just used to hood chicks. Like, I
Yeah.
can be hood, but I'm also educated with my hoodness.
Yeah. What about you, Shay? Have you ever dated outside of your league, or do you believe that's a thing? One, and have you ever dated outside your league?
Yes, and yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. But I think it was more. Well, yeah, no, it was finances and it was maturity, which I'm happy because it matured me. You know, I was dating someone who was 22 years older than me, and I'm very happy that I dated that person because it matured me. I was definitely able to focus on other things that better prepared me for now. So I'm very happy I did it then. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thinking about love and commitment, what does commitment look like? Like, is traditional love still a thing? When I mean traditional love, like, hey, one-on-one, you got all of this polyamorous, right? Sister wives, you got threesomes, you got open relationships, you got all these different type of relationships, but a lot of them have been together for years and have making it work. Do you think people just come to the realization that the person that I'm with isn't monogamous and I'm just going to accept what they do because, one, we have a life together and I know them, and I'm scared to get to know a person all over again, and I'm scared to rebuild again. So I'm just going to accept what I have. What's your perspective? Because this is a big one. Because you see, and I've met a lot of people that's been together a long time, but they are jumping up and down on somebody else. And sometimes the person is okay with it, sometimes the person is not. But they're not going to say too much. It's because they got history with that person. What's your perspective on that, Nate?
Tell us the truth. Come on, you can let it down. Go ahead and tell us.
Is it still a such thing as traditional love? Because I mean, look, we got all of these.
So I'm gonna go a little back door up the alley and through my garage, right? I think it depends on the age gap of the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you dating younger, you know, I think the traditional thing has been thrown out the way because a lot of people ain't seen traditional. Where I think it could end up being the traditional, but I don't think it's going to start traditional. If that makes sense. And let me elaborate. Um, I think dating looks different now as we got older,
Mm-hmm.
and people got things that they're looking for, things they're not looking for, and two people have to be on the same page for it to be traditional. I see more people now just living together than getting married. And in
Okay.
traditional aspect, a man and woman both have their separate places. They end up finding a place together and they end up getting married or stuff like that. I think now we just said things a little bit more where they live together for years and they never get married. I don't think it's traditional anymore. I think there's a new traditional, and
Okay,
I
what you
think
got?
that, and I think the new traditional is a lot of stuff that we seeing right now and the things that don't work. Um, I like to be a little bit old fashioned. I don't want my kids being in the house where I'm picking them up on Tuesdays and Thursdays and getting them every other Sundays. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the norm now for some lot of people. I want to be present in my kids' life. I want to be able to go pick them up and from school and be able to tuck them in bed. I want to be able to have a working relationship with my kid's mother. Hopefully, she's in the house too, if that makes sense. So I think there still can be traditional, but I think the traditional aspects of what traditional has changed.
So what about all these open relationships? What you guys think? Do you think that people are in open relationships because they want to be, or do they just realize that
What's
themselves or their
Mm-mm.
mate isn't monogamous?
what's the open relationship, by the way? Like, what are you?
Open relationship means
For
that
those that
we're in
don't
a
know,
so open relationships for the ones that don't know means that you're in a relationship with a person, right? So at any time you say, "Hey, babe, I saw such and such. What do you think about them?" If your mate agree, then you go and have a jump off session or maybe some type of situationship with the other person. But the thing is, it's cheating, but I guess it's not cheating because the person knows. But do you believe that people is okay with it, or are they okay because they know one who they're with, or two, they just don't want to start over? Because I know people who have told me, I know the person I'm with is a dog. I don't want to have to start over, and we invested in a lot. So what does that? What are you guys' perspective on that?
I think Rent got a lot of people staying in situations, man.
You said who?
I think Rent got a lot of people staying in situations, bro.
You was a fool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rent and mortgage got people staying in a lot of situations that they know ain't right.
What about you, Ms. D? What's your perspective
I
on
think
that?
people are just settling. I'm just gonna settle for this person because I already got them. So why move around? I'm just gonna stick around.
And I guess as long as you know what they say, long as they ain't touching their money, right? I've heard people say, long as my money and stuff ain't being touched or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. That's kind of sad. What about you, Shay? What do you think is going on with that?
I mean, I don't know. I think more. I think a lot of women won't admit that they don't want to do it, but I think that it is accepted because a lot of women are getting cheated on,
Mm-hmm.
and they're made to believe that men appetite for sex is much bigger than theirs, but it's not. It's just women are able to control their emotional side of them much better than men. And I believe women have restraint. They have control versus to men just see a hole and it can be a pole, it can be a cup. It don't matter. If it's wet and tight, he gonna stick it in it. And I
Straight
just
up.
think that I think that women, that old saying, it's better to have a piece of man than no man at all. I think, unfortunately, our society of men, women are so desperate that they would deal with a piece of a man than to make a man respect them. I used to be mad at men for the way that they treat women, but a man can only treat a woman the way he treats her if the woman let him treat her that way.
I agree with you, Shay, and
So I can't even be mad at men anymore because men can only fuck for women if the other three let him.
But you know what, Shay? I think a lot of times some of these women have low self-esteem and they don't know how to fend for themselves. They think that what they in is healthy and this man love them. They knowing that he's a no good motherfucker and that he's fucking two other broads and they okay with that.
I don't even know if it's low self-esteem. I think it's more so women don't want to be alone. Like they don't want, especially when a lot of their girlfriends are married. You've been married for a long time. You've built things with these guys. And then now here you are, you're in your mid 40s, you're in your early 40s, and now you have to start all over again. So instead of me having to start all over again and kind of looking crazy, I'll rather just stay with him and we can just kind of do this thing that we doing, and I don't gotta be by myself, and then we can kind of travel a little bit, whatever. But it's all false. It's not healthy. It's not real. It's not good. But there are a lot of women that deal with stuff just to have a piece of man, and I can no longer be mad at men for the way they treat us because it's women at the root of all of this.
You know what's attractive? You know what's very attractive? You know what's very attractive to me in my eyes? What's very attractive is an independent woman who doing her thing, taking care of her kid, not really depending on nobody. That's so attractive. Yeah. And I say that because we got so many women who think that, oh, this man got a good job. I'm struggling. He should be helping me. Man, I love a woman that got her shit together, taking care of her own, taking care of her kid, doing it by herself with minimal help. And she got the attitude where it'd be nice if I had somebody, but until then, I'm doing my thing, and that's so attractive to me.
But yeah, because a lot of them sell their soul too for some money, or because you're giving them some money. You know, it's like because they taking care of me, I'm allowed them to do that. At some point, why would you sell your soul? When are you gonna get your integrity back?
You're talking about wealthy people. I'm talking about the average Joe Blow.
No. The average Joe. The average Joe.
Paying 50%. Listen. Of the bills. That's still, I know 5 women right now that's paying majority of their bills at their house, and they got a piece of shit ass husband or boyfriend that ain't doing a damn thing for them besides giving them a headache, and they know he ain't shit, and they still at the house.
Yeah, I don't,
They
want to start over.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. All they good for is a piece of dick. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. And these women, they're only happy when a man is happy. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that for the life of me.
I don't understand it either. But then that's why I said I'm no longer mad at men. A man can only have 5 baby mamas if the other 4 fuck him. I mean, he can't have 5 baby mamas if the other 4 don't fuck him and get pregnant by him. So go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you're right. Go ahead. You was on something.
If you would rather be like Nick Cannon, every woman that had a baby by him, and they know he had 12 other, 11, 10, 9, 8. I am not mad at Nick Cannon. He didn't create dysfunctional homes. The woman created a dysfunctional home, not him, because he can only fuck you if you let him. It's simple. Not just that.
And it's their fault because they know he can't be a father to their kid if he can't.
But they want that money. They want to. But again, they want to pay out. At some point, you sell your soul. Yeah. You got to teach people how to date you. You know, and this is anybody. You have to start out teaching a person how to date you. If you meeting somebody on a first date, they come over to your house and you Netflix and chilling and cooking. You already providing a foundation that I don't have to take you out. I'm gonna just come over here, go get a couple little things, and you cook. Why not say no? We're gonna hang out, we're gonna go out. This is where we're going. This is where I like to go. You have to teach people how to date you, but people don't. You have to set the tone in the beginning, and that's why people are accepting what they're accepting, because they're not teaching people how to date them. If you really, really like a person, if you into a person, if they tell you how they want to be courted and dated, you're gonna do it. But if you don't have nothing, if you don't love yourself enough or have enough integrity to say, hey, this is what I want to do, he's gonna treat you like that. He's gonna come over, he's gonna Netflix and chill, He's gonna hit. He's not gonna call you tomorrow. You're gonna be in your feelings, or he's gonna call you in 2 weeks. Same thing. He ain't gonna call you in 2 weeks, and then guess what? It becomes a pattern. Then it becomes a pattern. But guess what? He's still doing what he's doing. But you, every time he come over, you getting attached because in your mind, oh, he's going to change. No, he's not going to change. He's not going to change.
You don't even got to start there. You're starting at the beginning. I mean, we have women who've been married to their husbands for 10 years, 15 years, and they know their husbands are cheating. And they will say wild shit like, well, I've invested too much in him to let him go. Or ain't no woman gonna take my husband away from me. And I'm like, so at what point do like you respect yourself enough to say, I'm not gonna deal? A man can only disrespect you if you allow him. If you don't allow him, then he can't disrespect you. So I can't have a pity party with my girlfriend when she tells me her man ain't shit and he this and he that. I can't have a pity party with you because everything he's doing, you're allowing it. Everything he's doing. So I'm confused.
I had a female friend tell me one time, she's married. Yeah, my husband cheats on me, but he's about to retire, and when he's retiring and something happens, we get divorced, I get half of that pension. I said, wow. She said, I've been doing it for so long, I get half of that pension. So I'm staying for another 2 years, and I'm divorcing when he retired.
I guess it
if
says
you
the
happy
song
in it, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it says tricking it. It ain't tricking if you got it. So
one thing I hate, man, like some of my friends, man, they get in these relationships, and all they do is complain about the person. And after a while, I just sit there like, why in the fuck are you still there? You never had nothing good to say about nobody. This person put you through a lot of shit. And I sit there like, I don't even want to answer the phone sometimes because this shit just kind of condescended. Like, if you're that unhappy, why are you doing this? Nobody put a gun to your head.
But Nate, people stay with people for comfortability. People stay with people because they afraid. Again, they afraid to branch out. Right? It's I know this person. I know this. I know that. I know. People are afraid to branch out. One thing that Des and I talk about all the time: if it ever got to a point where either one of us is unhappy, we're not going to just stay in something, because at the end of the day, we want both parties to be happy, not just myself, you. But you have a lot of these marriages that just together just because after you didn't get dogged out or cheated on. But some people just stay with that. I don't know if they're waiting. I don't know what they're waiting on, but
the mortgage payments and rent got people staying together.
I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that.
It's the truth.
Boy, I do believe that.
What about the people who don't have mortgages? What about the people who haven't built? Like you guys are talking about.
But people are emotionally and mentally damaged, though, Shay. That's where it's come. People are damaged mentally. They've been beat up mentally and beat up emotionally. So
and
they don't know what's good.
I know people who are in relationships that verbally said out of their mouth, I'd rather stay with what I'm familiar with than to end up with someone who's worse than what I have. And they know that they're not happy. They don't own shit together. They don't pay shit together. They don't live together. So I'm talking about these regular people out here in the world that don't have ties. If you're telling me I've been married to somebody for 40 years and in 2 years, if I stay with them, I get a pension, I can kind of see why you say, hey, I'm going to stay. But I'm talking about the people who are truly not happy and they're in this and they've been in it. And I don't understand that part.
It's 2 words, self and esteem. That's what it is. It's self and esteem.
Because I say that all the time, Kevin. People look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. What do you mean? No, your self-esteem fucked up. And I done seen people be in relationships before where they get their self-esteem just get notch, and they don't understand it today, unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Because if your self-esteem was apart, because you have self-esteem, your self-esteem won't allow you to take on certain things, or your self-esteem won't allow you to deal with certain things. It's people's self-esteem. It's beat up. It's jumped on. They don't have it. So with that being said, then they are vulnerable to accept certain, because they can't see nothing else. This became a pattern, right? This have became a habit. And so they built something within themselves that say, hey, well, you know what? This is what they tell themselves that. But people, y'all gotta get somebody's self-esteem. If a person love you, you have to remember a person is not gonna hurt you. It's simple. If a person love you, one, they're gonna respect you. Nowadays, people don't have respect. But then also, two, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing to cause a person to do other? I do believe for every action, there's a reaction, right?
But
What you
you
about
know,
to say, Nate?
Kevin, I want to say because I think where he's going, you can't question yourself for why a person cheating on you. It's not sometimes your fault why a person cheats.
Mm-mm.
Sure isn't.
You're true, but I think you have to go back to the drawing board, right? Yes, people do it because, but I think you should also go back to the drawing board and look to see what could you have done better.
What do you mean?
I don't, because listen, I don't think people wake up and cheat. I don't believe that. I think
What you say?
sometimes I don't think people wake up and cheat. I don't believe that. I don't think people wake up and cheat. I do think sometimes people
You think it's premeditated?
No, it's not premeditated. I think that sometimes people are yearning for something, and they are hoping that maybe the person will come around, the person that they with come around, or they are. I think when people cheat, not all the time, but most of the time, people are yearning for something, and people think cheating is just physical. Cheating, you could cheat mentally, you could cheat emotionally. I just think that people sometimes are looking for something that they're not getting at home. So the question for me is, if I'm being cheated on, what am I not providing? That's one thing that I would want to know for me.
Kev, thinking like that is what keep people in relationships with a person that cheated because they think they blaming themselves.
No. You're not blaming yourself, but I'm just curious as to why you did what you did, and it just depends on your response. 9 times out of 10, your response to me ain't gonna be good enough. I'm gonna probably more than likely hit the road, but I still want to know what because guess what? You can work a lot, right? You can work a lot, and a person might say, "Hey," which doesn't listen. We don't condone cheating, right? But if you're working 92 hours a week and a person like, hey, you're not even here, you can't give me a hug, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, and they find somebody that's checking on them every day, non-sexual, checking on them every day, which is cheating, then you have to ask yourself, damn, you know what? Just as much as I put in with this job and this career, I need to put in with my relationship. People don't know. It's important to have work-life balance. If you don't have work-life balance, you're going to lose in some area. If you put all this into your career, yeah, you're making money, but you're going to lose in your relationship. Or if you put so much into your relationship, you're going to lose. You got to have a balance. And some people don't know work-life balance. Most companies, they always say that, and they say that for a reason. Work-life balance, because a lot of divorces happen because of work. If you Google the statistics, if you say, why do most people divorce? It ain't just for infidelity. It's because time. People don't make time. That's why you have to have a balance. If you're doing a little too much, you got to make time. You got to make time for movie night. You got to make time for date night. You got to have check-in times. You have to have check-in times. Hey, babe, how you feeling? Blase, 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 blase. Right? And that's the thing. What's your perspective on it, Miss? Go ahead.
You think that we go back to what you said. You think that people cheat because of the other person?
I think not because of the other person. I think that has a factor into that, most definitely. I think that's fit. Yes, I do think that's a big part of that. I do. Me personally, I do.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Yep.
Go ahead.
What you guys have? Go ahead, Miss D. What you got? You got to add something?
I don't have anything to add. You guys are doing great.
Well, I definitely don't agree with with your statements. We can definitely agree to disagree. I think a lot of times it goes back to what Nate said. That's what keep people stuck, because they think that I can do better, something I could have done. You know, when I was physically abused for many years, that was something that I struggled with. I was always asking myself, what did I do to get hit? How can I change the narrative tomorrow? What can I do better to be a better girlfriend? And eventually I realized it had nothing to do with me. I didn't deserve to get hit. I didn't deserve to get punched. I didn't deserve any of that because I wasn't doing anything. But when you have someone who's sick, that's a sick mind that thinks that I'm going to do something to hurt you because you're not doing something to please me. That's a sick person. And whether it's physical or whether it's verbal, it's something wrong with that person because you can leave me. You don't have to stay with me.
Or if you had enough self-esteem, you could have left them the first time they hit you too. So two things could be true at the same time, right?
Well, it wasn't
Right?
about my self-esteem. It was about me being young and being immature and not mature enough mentally to understand that it was nothing that I could do to make this person love me
But
and treat me the way that I
what
needed
I'm
to be treated.
but what I'm saying is that certain things. So when you go in, I think anybody going into a relationship, they should have a non-negotiable. You should have a non-negotiable of what you're not going to accept. And if that person crossed the line, you get the fuck up out of there. I don't think people go into relationships like that. At that first time you were struck by that person, that should have told you, get the fuck up out of there.
But it's simple. It's easy to say
It's not.
that.
It's not.
Well,
I know people
I'm gonna say two things. I'm gonna say
Say
two
when you're not
things.
in a situation. It's easier to say what you won't do if you're not in that situation. Until you actually become in a situation, you'll understand it more.
I'm gonna tell you, but I was younger too, so I'm gonna say that was one thing. Now in my life, now a bitch hit me, baby, we bucking, okay? We fist fighting like
okay,
Layla
but are you
Ali.
still gonna? But are you still gonna be with them?
Absolutely not. I would never take that again in my life. There's nobody on this planet that can put their hands on me and I'm in a relationship with ever again in my life on my mother's ashes, God rest her soul, that could touch me and I wouldn't break their motherfucking jaw. Those days are long gone, okay? I've learned, I realized I'm not supposed to deal with that, but I was young. And I'm not talking about women who are in their 20s and they just don't know. I'm talking about grown people who know what they supposed to do and what they not supposed to do. There is no person that you should be cheating on or hitting on or whatever because of something they're not doing to you. You can just simply leave them. I don't think that women, I don't think that anybody should say, well, it's something I did. I need to go back and think. Did I make their food right? Damn, am I working too much? Oh, did I read that book too long? I left that light on. Like, dude, I'm doing too much. No, I ain't doing all that.
And just for the record, women abuse men too. I know men who's been in abusive relationships by women. I know it sounds crazy. But women abuse men. And that's because until a man knock the hell out of them, which they should not, then they do it. But women abuse men too. So it's both ways. I don't want to think that the man is just abusing women, but you can abuse, and it's not just physical. I think that's the other connotation is to that. Abuse is just physical. Abuse is mental, and most of the time, people gonna beat you up mentally and emotionally because once they beat you up like that, they can do whatever they want to do after that. They're gonna tear you down. They're gonna tear you down so much that you don't think that you worthy and that they the only person that you have. And so people don't look at the writings on the wall. And I think
mental
that's
abuse
why,
is worse.
Yeah, mental and that's why
so much.
That's
worse.
why I get frustrated as a friend, a brother, uncle, and stuff because I be wanting more for people than they want for themselves. And sometimes I get so enamored with other people's relationships because I genuinely want better for them, but they can't see it for themselves. So now you have to take yourself out because you have to understand, hey, they probably won't get nothing better than this, or they not going to allow themselves to get something better than that and just be okay with that. Yep. But yeah, we're actually, we didn't even get to everything and we 10 minutes out. So yeah, this was a good great show. And of course we do appreciate everybody. Do anybody have anything last that they want to add to the situation before we jump off? Go ahead, Nate.
Self-esteem.
Yep.
And stop letting that rent and mortgage payment determine your factors in life.
No, but you're absolutely right. Get it for yourself. Grind for yourself. Listen, get it for yourself you appreciate it more. Because if I get you a car, you're gonna go over potholes, be jumping. But I guarantee when you buy that car, you're gonna keep it clean. You're gonna be careful how you drive it. Get your own shit. It don't matter if the other person have something. Guess what, y'all? That's how the empire is built, when they have something. But get your own stuff so that nobody can tell you what to do and how to do it. And then if they come along and they got theirs, then that's how the empire is built. But get your own. Self-confidence is everything. Your self-worth is everything. Peace of mind is everything. I don't care if you went from a 9-bedroom house to a studio, but your peace of mind. Peace of mind is everything.
Priceless.
It's priceless. What you want to leave us with, Shay?
Happy Black History Month. I drew a blank quick.
Yeah, because I thought you were about to say happy anniversary. I'm like, okay.
I was in deep thought. I just drew a blank. I was like, happy, like, where are we at? Happy Black History Month.
Okay. Ms. D, what do you want to leave with?
Don't allow people to treat you any kind of way. Know your worth.
All right. Y'all heard it from us. And guess what, y'all? Again, we do appreciate you guys for joining in every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and 5 p.m. Is that specific? Yeah, specific time.
If you do this,
I be forgetting because West Coast is listen. I'm still thinking I'm in Michigan, so Michigan is 3 hours, but I realized they 2 hours away from me because I'm in Texas now, so it's 2 hours. So that's
we're gonna do some flashcards. They're gonna be like this.
Right. 7, 8, and 5. 7, 8, and 5. But yeah,
hey, we got to get Des with the flashcards back there for him.
Right.
right. So listen, if you see me like this, that means he's or a teleprompter, right? Yeah. But yeah, we do appreciate you guys. We do appreciate everybody that's participating and everything. Don't forget, go to the YouTube channel, Bearded Man Chronicles, like, share, subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, share, and share. Until next time. We'll holler at you guys, and we'll see you next week. And we out of here. Peace. Happy Black History Month.